What's up, y'all? Today we are going to talk about a TikTok that I made about a week ago now, I think it was, that involves the FBI, state police, and the Amish. So let's just dive right on into this. So first thing is first, I'm not going to play the TikTok right now because y'all should go watch it. It's at Savannah Lynn, the real Savannah Lynn on TikTok. But basically the premise of all of this is that the Miller farm, which is also owned by an Amos Miller, who he has owned this farm for over 30 years now, in an Amish community in a town called Bird in Hand, Pennsylvania. And it was raided back on January 4th, I believe, so about 5 days ago, where state troopers and state police, as well as a bunch of questionable government agency people, raided his farm with search warrants and warrants for seizing, basically just container after container after container of little Yeti coolers filled with Amos Miller's property, which consisted of things like eggnog, milk, chocolate milk, sour cream, cottage cheese, just basically anything that the Amish are really good at making. And why, you might ask? It's because supposedly they found something called the Shiga toxin, which is a carrier of E. coli in some of the milk. And as you can see here, the tests for E. coli in Michigan and New York for causing the human illnesses, which, listen, I am somebody who likes to purchase things from the Amish community as well as just in general organic farms and orchards and just, your average citizen around us because it's a lot healthier. It's a lot, well, I'm not going to say it's a lot cheaper because let's be honest, the more healthy it is, the more expensive it is. But I can always at least count on that it's not going to be covered in pesticides and toxins. And there is a certain risk that goes along with purchasing these kind of things, as there is for anything. Because let's be honest now, there is a bigger risk of you getting some very bad diarrhea and some awful cancers and diseases from going to your local McDonald's and eating that every day than eating organic fresh milk from an Amish farmer that takes care of his animals, that doesn't fill it with harsh and toxic chemicals, and then privately sells it to you as an American citizen. So we're not even going to get into the fact that this is completely tyrannical from our government. Do we not have anything better to do than raid Amish farms? Like you would think, with the war going on in Ukraine, the war on our southern border, the attack on democracy just in general with the 2024 election coming up, we might have better things to do for our state police than raiding little old Amish communities and Amish farms. So recently, this article is from, I believe, today, yes, 1 hour ago, that the Pennsylvania Ag Department wants the farmer Amos Miller to succeed, but is frustrated at his failure to follow food safety regulations. Now, I call BS on this, just like right freaking now, because the American food regulations that come from the FDA, the CDC, and all of these other alphabet organizations, they're kind of a little bit hypocritical because those exact same organizations are the ones that told us that all of these vaccines and these shots don't do anything to your body. They're also the same people that still, on their website to this date, say that cigarettes and nicotine are okay. Have we not learned? Like, I get that that was a whole thing in the 30s, the 20s, the 40s, and it was an advertisement that you just saw on every single magazine was cigarettes. It's good for pregnant women. It's good for headaches. It's good for depression. And then, oh, lo and behold, yeah, it actually causes cancer, and it's actually not good for you, especially pregnant women. But did they ever get in trouble for that? No, they didn't. So I did a little bit more research because the only thing that I could find that this supposed Amish farm was guilty of was, number one, not wanting to comply with the government regulations, which honestly, same. So that's not really a bad thing. But also the reports based on linking them to E. coli infections in 2 other states. So I'm not exactly sure how legitimate these accusations are because we all know the government would never lie to us. But doing a little bit more research, I discovered that Amos Miller and his farm is no stranger to the letter organizations coming knocking at their farm door, because this all started back in 2016 when I googled how to pronounce this earlier, but I'm going to butcher it now. Listeriosis illnesses that occurred in 2014 when Mr. Miller sold organic raw milk to two different people, and both people had to be hospitalized, and one tragically died from this illness. Now, that is horrible, that is awful, but if you want to know what listeriosis is, it's diarrhea. It's a fever and it's diarrhea. It's loose stool and feces. So I'm going to go out on a limb here because I could not find anywhere the death certificates or a cause of death for these two people. It's just these articles that say that one died from the listeriosis. But when I Googled what that was and it said diarrhea, a little bit of like red flags went off in my brain, because most people in modern day America, their stomachs and their intestines can't really handle anything, because we've sort of conditioned our bodies to reject healthy, nutritious, good for us food and only want the chemical-filled garbage. I mean, why do you think McDonald's is so addicting to people? It's because, one, it's cracked out and filled with sodium, which we all know is an addictive drug to the human body, but it's also filled with preservatives and chemical agencies that make your body yearn for more. So, to say that it's due to his raw milk kind of makes me question the validity of their entire case. So the FBI, state police, I mean, these people have all been bothering the Amish for years and years and years and years now. But Mr. Miller, I feel like they're trying to make some kind of statement or example out of him to the rest of the Amish community that, hey, you guys don't get away with selling nature to people. And like, I don't know, helping people succeed and creating healthier life choices when it comes to the food and the nutrition that we eat. So if you sell things like jams or preservatives, or you can your food, or you go to farmers markets, there is a very strenuous process that you have to go through in order to even be able to legally sell these things. I'm no stranger to selling food-based products at farmers markets. For years with my business, Savvy's Puppy Love, I actually sold organic dog treats. And I kid you not, 12-year-old me was confronted by old white ladies asking me for my FDA labels on the food. And I'm like, lady, these treats are flour, peanut butter, a little bit of salt, some baking powder, and some milk. Like, what else do you want from me? If your dog can't eat this, maybe you should stop feeding him the burnt pieces of poop-looking garbage that you get from PetSmart and Petco, who's not exactly known for taking care of their animals, let alone their products on their shelves. But I come from Texas these days, and Texas, right now we're looking at the Farm and Ranch Freedom Alliance webpage. And Texas specifically, most states have this now, but it is called Cottage food laws. Because I didn't realize this until I actually started getting into this world a bit and becoming a little bit more of a agricultural warrior for the people. But it was actually illegal to create, to bake, mix up, cook, whatever, and sell food that was made in a home kitchen. Which, like, y'all, what the actual heck? Who in Congress thought that this was a good idea? Everything once upon a time was made in a kitchen. It's not our fault that, money does speak wonders to a lot of people, and a lot of corporations switched from, a mom and pop, healthy, made in a kitchen sort of, food style to switching to the print press, factory where, they cut corners and they make their food excessively cheap, or they make it overseas and they don't care what goes in it and what it can cause. to people who actually consume this. But anyway, Texas cottage food laws passed, and as of just recently, of September 1st, 2019. So this applies to Texas. I can't speak on other states. I'm just speaking on ours. But the Texas cottage food law has continued to evolve and expand since it first passed in 2011, but it was changed in the Texas legislature in 2019. Prior to 2011, it was illegal to sell any food that a person prepared in a home kitchen. What the heck, Texas? What the heck, United States? I thought we were supposedly the land of the free. Guess not. But that year, the Farm and Ranch Freedom Alliance, or the FARFA, worked to pass the first Texas cottage food law, allowing people to sell a few specific low-risk foods to consumers who could only purchase foods by traveling to the producer's home. The law was expanded in 2013 and has other revisions that went into effect as of September 1st, 2019. Now, this sounds really fine and great, but if you look and you read like the fine print in here, it very clearly says a few low-risk foods to consumers. Now, this kind of law is probably more leaning towards, your average stay-at-home mom that maybe wants to expand her baking business, or a woman who has, like my neighbor, a plum tree in their backyard and cans plums when it comes in season and, sells it at farmers markets casually. This doesn't really help the Amish community and the people whose entire livelihoods revolve around being able to grow, produce, and sell organic sourced food to the community. And let's be honest now, the Amish, they kind of have something figured out. They are, if you've ever really been in the Amish community or met and talked to these people, they're very down to earth, just casual, organic, like they just want to do everything naturally and they don't really care for our government, let alone what our government wants us to do. They're just pretty chill people and I really like talking to them. And when it comes to their food and their, shots that they take, they have a very holistic, natural lifestyle, and it shows because these people, they don't really get cancers, they don't get sick, they don't really have all the health issues that the average American has today because, statistically, 1 in 3 people these days are going to get cancer. And you wonder why. It might be because we have transitioned ourselves from preparing natural homemade food that we sourced locally to this fast food industry where we eat these things that are filled with chemicals and preservatives and substances that are specifically designed to make you crave more, that are frozen and fried and stored overseas and then shipped over here. And do we question it? No, because, this is America. The cheeseburger and the hot dog are apparently staples of American cuisine, which is probably the reason why we have an obesity epidemic. But you know what? I digress. So, getting back to Mr. Amos Miller, if you want to go check him out, here's his website right here. And if you live in Pennsylvania and you want to purchase organic, good for you food from a guy who is literally trying to fight the system and start a standard that, hey, letter organizations from the government, you guys don't get to dictate everything that we eat. Go support this dude. So he has a private, I forgot the terminology that's used with the Amish, but it's basically a private buyer's list where you have to get into the co-op. Thank you, Mom. Yes, a private co-op where you get into it and then you sort of get on the list because y'all, this is sought after stuff. When my mom and I discovered the local Amish milk, raw milk, goat's milk, camel milk, that kind of stuff around here, there was literally a waiting list to get on it. And thank you, Mom. We're still on the list right now, but somehow, some way, Mom managed to get a gallon of this stuff a few months ago, and I swear it was the most delicious milk ever. And we even got some homemade Amish versions of Oreos, which were so delicious. And they even have a peach and an apple truck. And I swear, y'all, when you take the chemicals and the preservatives and this new Bill Gates plastic coating on this fruit off of the stuff and you eat it, it tastes so much better. So here's his website right here, and he actually posts articles that talk about, the benefits of raw milk, the possibility of a risk, but, it's basically the same thing as H-E-B or Walmart. And it even talks about their other different things, which, everyone knows the Amish has, fruits and vegetables and milk, but did you guys know that you could have camel milk? I really didn't. I don't think I've ever seen an Amish community that has a camel, but apparently Mr. Amos Miller does. And you know what? Let's actually, I'm curious. Let's go, into why camel milk is so good. Okay, so it says camel milk is naturally comprised of an amazing array of ingredients, including a unique protein and nutrients, which make it a perfect milk alternative. And it's also a base component for skincare and nutraceutical products. Oh, that's actually kind of interesting. I've never heard about camel milk being a skincare product. That makes sense, though. Oh, let's go into the vitamins and minerals. I'm actually really interested now. The essential fatty acids include omega-3, 6, and 9 oils. It has alpha hydroxy acids that act as collagen stimulators. Oh, fancy. And the vitamins and minerals in camel milk is a gold mine, apparently, because it has A, B, C, D, E, just everything. Okay, y'all. I did not realize camel milk was so good for us. See, this right here is why the alphabet organizations are coming after us, because why would they want us to be healthy? Honestly, a sick population is a cash cow population, because our government is in cahoots with the pharmaceutical industries. Don't lie, don't deny it. They are. Look no further than the most recent example being the 1940s and literally Nazi Germany, where they used vaccines and diseases and unhealthy people to help push their propaganda. And I mean, there are so many other examples of that happening in America to this day, but you actually kind of have to do your research and open your eyes to the possibility that they don't want what's best for you. Don't even get me started on everything that happened in New York with autistic kids and with people who had mental disabilities and what our government did to them. But that's a whole nother video. Anyway, here is his website. Y'all should definitely go check him out. So if you're I said Lancaster the other day, but someone apparently from Lancaster was like, that's not how you pronounce it. It was Lancashire or something. I don't know. Okay, y'all. I'm sorry if I butchered it. Everyone butchers my last name anyway, so you know what? Fair is fair. People pronounce things really strangely. So that's kind of the least of my concerns. But anyway, so right now this investigation, going back full circle, the investigation on the Amos Miller farm is still going on. And as far as I can tell, he is still fighting this. He does not want to go to the FDA and the CDC regulations when it comes to food, because a lot of times the regulations, depending on the thing that you're trying to sell, whether it be a vegetable or a canned good or a raw milk and things like that, they require you to put actual things into it. And this guy is nah, I'm gonna give people the raw milk. Do with it what you want. Turn it into cheese, butter, do your little sour cream. You want to make it an eggnog? Go right ahead. Ice cream. Oh my goodness. An Amish milk, organic raw milk ice cream. Woo! Delicious. You can't get anything better than that. Dare I say it's better than Bluebell. That might be treason in Texas. I don't know. But again, all of this goes back to the apparent E. coli and the, what was that one word called? I can't, don't ask me to pronounce things sometimes. I looked it up and now I can't find it. It's so difficult. I swear, talking is hard. It's so freaking hard. You know what? Whatever it was. Hold on. Actually, I think I might. Oh, there it is. Listeriosis? Listeriosis. This, which, by the way, remind everybody again, it's simply a fever and diarrhea. It's a common joke in America that you get that from a night out at Taco Bell, but I don't see the FBI and the state police going after Taco Bell for that. But they are going to go after the Amish farms for, doing everything the natural way, the way that you're supposed to do it, but whatever. So, This is all my personal opinion from this point right here, but when you purchase from farmers markets, from the Amish co-ops, or from your neighbor down the street who has chickens and she decides to sell you a mason jar filled with glassed eggs, whatever it is, there is a certain risk that you take when you do that. Because you know what? One of their hairs could have fallen in. It's possible. Maybe their child licked the spoon while they had their back turned. We all weigh that in. But guess what? The little bit of kid bacteria in there that could possibly be from a mom who's trying to do a little bakery out of her kitchen is a far less risk to me than going to McDonald's and getting myself a 4-piece chicken Happy Meal and not knowing where that meat came from or what that preservative is going to do inside my body. We're well aware that you might get sick, but guess what? There is a way higher chance that you get sick going to modern day fast food establishments. I don't even need to explain to everybody that the classics like Burger King, McDonald's, and all of these fast food chains, like, it's a quite common thing to see like a case of a McDonald's burger and fries or Burger King nuggets, and it has a little plaque on it that says this was from 2005 or 2010, and it literally looks freaking brand new because of all the preservatives and the chemicals and the compounds that they put in there to make it addictive for us as the consumer to eat. That food cannot physically break down inside your body. That's why a lot of people have obesity issues, they have diabetic issues, they have indigestion issues, which, like, I was there for the absolute longest time in my childhood. I know this might be TMI for some people, but I'm just going to share a little bit of my personal testimony. I had Hashimoto's for literal years of my life, and I went to so many different doctors, and at some point, the final, diagnosis for me was that I needed to take Synthroid for the rest of my life. I needed to have an entire container of Metamucil and Miralax, and I needed to do 1 to 2 enemas every single day for the rest of my life if I wanted to live comfortably. That sounds miserable. It was miserable because nothing in my intestines could pass through. And you know what? It was probably because of the American diet that we eat. And we were never a fast food family. That was just not something that my mom wanted for us. But at the same time, we physically cannot get the same nutrition that we could 100 or 200 years ago because it is simply everywhere. So at some point, we decided to start taking this thing called Juice Plus, which is an amazing godsend, which actually, low-key, I am trying to start being an ambassador for and selling. So if you would like some of this, feel free to comment down below and I will get you linked up with this. But Juice Plus is these capsules that are filled with the fruit capsules filled with 30 different fruits and fruits. Oh geez, she's throwing them at me. This is the vegetable capsule. She's gonna throw another one. Okay, and this is the fruit capsule. And oh gosh. And then they also have a berry capsule. And the last but not least, oh gosh, this is the omega capsule. And all of these right here are, it's just raw fruit, it's raw vegetables, it's raw berries, it's omegas that come straight from freaking nature, and it essentially gives you, in one of these capsules, the nutrition of 30 different fruits, which it's literally impossible for you to be able to eat that in a day, let alone be able to afford it. And before anybody's is like, Savannah, get off this tangent, I take vitamins. No, you guys really don't, because you might think that taking, your little Flintstone gummies is getting you the nutrition that you need. No, it's not. And if you actually do the research, it's honestly even more than half at this point. It's quite depressing. But all of these different vitamins and supplements are all owned by the exact same companies that create the pharmaceutical industry. So it's hypocritical. But I started taking these for a year straight, and I stopped taking my Synthroid too, which my mom did not know at the time. But I stopped taking all of those, and I went back to the doctor probably 8 months ago, and I admitted to her that I hadn't been taking my Synthroid, and she was like, you just screwed up your body, we're gonna have to try to refix all this and try to get you all leveled out. took blood work, and it came back, and she's like, yeah, you don't have Hashimoto's anymore. And I was like, what? That's not something that you get rid of. There's no cure for Hashimoto's. You kind of have that for life. And I don't have it anymore. And I totally blame it on these right here. So I started taking those. I really started to look at the American diet and go, you know what? I don't really want a McDonald's smoothie today. I could probably pass on an Arby's little, we got the meats, little sandwich right there. And I really started to look into Red 40 and natural flavoring, which is not actually natural, and Blue 6 and Yellow 5 and all of these different things, and how they all go back to corruption and who makes the most money, because the same people who profit off of heart disease and cancer are the exact same people who own the Roundup pesticides that gave it to people in the first place. So, you know what? Just follow the money trail. Just follow the money trail. Anyway, Amos Miller is still fighting the good fight. And if you guys want to support people like him right here, and you want to get the nutrition that you need, go support your local farmers market, go support your local co-op, the local Amish community, the mom down the street who is trying to bake cakes and goodies to just help them get by. Just do it. As Americans, we really got to start having each other's backs just a little bit more. So, and if you would like any of this right here, this Juice Plus, please feel free to comment down below and I will get you hooked up and I will personally get you some. So, just throwing that out there for anybody who would like to look into that more. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to comment down below and we will have a personal chat about it. And I will rave about it because I don't have to take 2 enemas every day for the rest of my life anymore. So I'm kind of passionate about it. But anyway, that is all for today, everybody. I hope this was enlightening to some of you and you learned something. Remember, fight the good fight. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? And all of that good stuff. Okay, bye.